When you are. Welcome, everybody, to the February 11th, 2025 Commissioners Meeting. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's 9 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or correction as the agenda to the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I do have add-ons here. Under the consent agenda, we have add-on commissioners warrants this morning of $36,254.44, $36,254.44. And at 9:40, Assessor Chris McChesney will be presenting the home tax abatement public hearing information. Amanda's at the Mako conference right now, so she is not available. Only changes I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Steve.
Those two changes, I'll move the agenda.
I'll support that.
A motion second to approve the agenda. And any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, seek a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes meeting minutes of 128:25, auditor warrants of 131:25 to 7:25, the commissioner's warrants of $36,254.44, hospital warrants of $365,273.63, and hospital offline warrants. Actually, we do not have any of those.
I'd move for approval.
A motion second to approve consent agenda. Any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have the county engineer, Nick Bergman. Morning.
All right, first up for me today would be project updates, or maybe I should say project update. There's only one. Main Street project in Edgerton. We did get signed plans back from NDOT, so we're moving along with that. And that's just for the segment that was tore up last year, so.
That's on the schedule then?
Yep. We'll add it, we'll hear back from the state when they give approval to advertise our federal overlay. We'll add this, or we'll advertise this project at the same time.
Okay.
It won't be part of that project because it'll federalize it and make it more expensive. But we're gonna let two projects at the same time and probably try to put something in the proposal that if the low bidder of the Main Street project does not get the federal project, that they can withdraw their bid. That'll keep a competitive bid on the Main Street project, so.
What was the scope of that project again? Just mill and overlay?
No, Main Street, they left it low. They milled a bunch off, then they,
Did a bunch of sewer work.
Yep. and they left it low and we're just gonna fill it back in. So give it the winter to kind of settle out and hopefully that helps with the trench settlement issues that we usually see on stuff like that, so. Yep. Next item for me would be, request to approve falling weight deflectometer testing. We generally do this every year, but I don't think we remember right, but there's one bid here. This is the only company I know of that does it. They've done it for us for a long time. They do a good job. When you break it down by mile, it's only a couple $100 a mile, so it's cheap testing. It's very valuable to us, so I think it's a really good investment, so.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Luke.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve bid from Brom Intertech, $6,254 for FWD testing. Any further discussion?
Nick, is this money in the budget or your
Yep.
budget?
Yep, this is. I couldn't say exactly how much is in there, but I budget enough every year to do every road once per overlay cycle. So there'll be some years where it's pretty much right on what I budgeted, some will be a little over and some will be a little under, but to keep the budget level, I do budget enough to do every road once per oversight.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next item I'd like to talk about, I think we have enough stuff accumulated plus equipment sale of some type. I know Wayne had asked if I had some stuff last summer and then I said I did and then I did it again, but if there's other stuff around the county, you know, we could try to get together.
The
But if it's,
hospital,
if it's just me, I can do just me too. It doesn't matter to me, so.
maybe contact Pete at the hospital. He's got some surplus he wants to get rid of as well too.
Okay, so should we do sealed bids? That's how I did like the last time I had a bunch of little stuff like this. We put it in the paper.
What the online bids that
Min bid?
there's, yeah, what was that one, Steve? I give you one.
The newest one that we've got, it's they're working with AMC as well.
That's probably a good way to do it. Especially if there's a lot of, you know,
We can, but a lot of my stuff,
little things or.
there's a lot of little things that I don't know what they charge and if it'd be worth it. I know, in the past, we put it on our website and took sealed bids that way and it all pretty much went local.
You remember, Steve? I don't remember what that said, but I think it was pretty minor.
I think
for
it's pretty
cost, I
reasonable.
think.
I'll grab it and check on that with Nick and see if it's worthwhile to mess around. If not, we'll just
Okay.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe compile your list of items so we kind of got.
Yeah, I'd have to get it all officially, declared by the board as surplus equipment and I'd need to get pictures and serial numbers and stuff. I'm just today like seeing if that's something I should pursue with now or wait, cause it doesn't matter to me, so. We can round up pictures and whatnot and I'll get it ready. Yep, okay,
Move forward.
yep. For what it's worth, the stuff I was thinking of getting rid of, would be that metal truss bridge. We have a piece of survey equipment. There's a cattle guard off of one of our trucks. It came with the truck when we bought it. We have an old small gas engine off of that old shouldering machine we got rid of. There's an old pup trailer that's got numerous frame cracks, broken tongue. We can't get it through DOT anymore. And then there's like a small recycle shed. We talked to Kyle about it. He said, you probably know which one I'm talking
No,
about.
I do, but
Yeah.
you use it anymore?
No,
Not really.
we don't. So those are the things I was thinking of getting rid of, but. Then for maintenance updates, that new pup frame showed up and we do have the box installed on it now, so, everything went together good, so that's good. I'm happy with that. Doing some painting, repairs around corners and then, DOT inspections, getting ready for the upcoming year, so. Other than that, that's it for me. Yeah. Questions for me or?
Anything else for Nick? No? Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Keith. He must went back upstairs, imagine.
Muster.
Okay, I guess we can move ahead to other business. Gary, do you have any personnel updates?
Short. The facilities manager position, we have like 12 applicants, of which I would say half are well qualified, so. Originally opened the advertising for 30 days, so the 14th was gonna be the end of that. I'd like to start scheduling interviews as soon as possible, so I'll get with you guys later on your schedule. The highway offer that we did, the secondary person accepted and he will be starting on the 24th. So that is the positions open, other than the fact that I tendered my resignation on Friday. Wasn't looking forward to this meeting for this reason. I do have a couple of people that I know that are HR peers that might be interested in taking this role. So I haven't reached out yet, but figured I'd ask for permission before I did that. They're both not from Pipestone, so before I go out of county, make sure I say something, but obviously we'll post the position.
Mhm.
And I've enjoyed working with all of you guys. You're been great. Made the decision a lot harder than I expected.
Are you through your probationary period? Are you sure you can leave before the probationary period is done?
I think I'm done with the
Oh.
and although I don't think
Oh,
we
shucks.
sat down and formalized that.
It could be extended, you know.
But if you would help us point us to, well, that's your job, I guess.
Yeah, I
Placement.
want you guys to have somebody who is trained in human resources to come in because I think that there's some benefit to that. And I do know a lot of people who work in HR who have been working in very different conditions than here, and this might be a very favorable change. So I won't recommend someone if I don't think they'll be a good fit, but there's a couple people that might.
Are there particular challenges to working in the governmental HR rather than private business HR? You probably.
That is a trick question.
I'm sorry.
Private equity, everything's about profit, right? So everything I used to do every day was about efficiency. How can I eliminate waste in what I'm doing on this process now? Where this job is more about being available for service when
Service.
required. That is a huge dichotomy of structure. So at first it was really weird. It took a while to figure things out. That being said, I mean, when things got difficult, I would talk to Steve and, we worked through all of that, and Steve's a great boss, gave me opportunities to learn in this position. And, as long as my brain is kept captive and busy on something, then it's doable. So the issue in private is the pace. So you can make a lot of money in human resources, right? The money is out there, but there's a ton of stress and pain and just day-to-day chaos that happens in that world. So when you leave that behind, it's just strange, but it also can be kind of healing. So I think this was a good move for me at the time, and the risk reward proposition of the job that I'm accepting it's too good to pass up this point in my life. I think 5 years down the road, I would love to work in this position, and I really had to consider that, but I definitely didn't mean to say all of that publicly.
No problem.
We appreciate the time you've been here.
Absolutely.
I've enjoyed it more than I thought, so. Guys
That's
have-
faint praise right there. Enjoyed it more than I thought.
Public has a certain, attachment to it. And I knew that coming in, but you guys have some good people that work here for you that serve your county, and you should be proud of building the team that you have.
Absolutely. Thank you. Keith still isn't here. I guess we move to committee reports if everyone's ready for that.
Mr. Chairman, I can mention one thing if you got a second here.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Steve. No.
The new state flag is flying on the flagpole. This guy, Captain, he came in and dropped off a payment for the flag. It's been accounted for, and a nice chat with him, and he was very thankful that we did that. And I thanked him multiple times for, offering to buy a flag for the county and got it flying. So
Very nice. Thank you, Steve.
thanks to Kyle for posting pictures in the paper.
You send him a card, thank you note.
I called it. I talked to him in person. Yes,
Well, thanks for doing that, Steve. Yeah.
absolutely.
I can start the reports if you like.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Dan.
First one for the month of January I had was on the 6th, and that was the Pipestone Area Coalition. As you know, we're no longer in the school. We're now out at the Health and Human Services Building where the office is at. And the second one for the month then was on the 8th, and that had to do with this child care facilities coordinator that we had. We had another lunch meeting type thing, coordinating that and moving forward. We're looking at some different possibilities for child care facilities, whether it be in a center or home based. So they're in the process of reaching out to an architect to come and actually walk through a couple possible facilities, see what it takes to remodel them and what there is for monies to move forward with this. So kind of we're moving in the right direction. So on the 13th, then I had at the hospital plan ops, Luke and I. Then the afternoon, then I had law enforcement liaison. Keith went over, excuse me, Keith wasn't there. Mike went over the current updates and so forth on it. And I don't think there's anything specific that stood out from that meeting, Steve.
Nope.
Steve's notes as well, too. On the 14th, then I had Explore Southwest Minnesota. That was a Zoom meeting, and still making progress on that. Also in the evening, I had my Veterans Committee meeting. They're to the point where they're ready to order the stones, but trying to figure out how much of the stones to order, can do it in increments. And you don't want to get too far out in front of yourself either. We want to make sure that we don't lose momentum on this. There have been some people that have been concerned, well, what happens if it never happens? So I get my money back. Well, that's not a factor. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of the size and scope as we move forward with it. So also then that day, excuse me, I met with the Caring Hands people and happy to report that they are now fully staffed. They've hired another provider out there. And then Dr. Katie, who's out on maternity leave, she actually has come in from maternity leave and done a couple of cases already. So she's got, I think, 3 weeks, I think, left of her leave. So nice to be fully staffed out there. Also make some inroads with the hospital to do some sedation dentistry. Works really well for a lot of the real young people. Instead of if they've got massive amounts of dental work need to be done, instead of having to have repetitive trips back and forth, they come under sedation and get it all done at one time. It's less traumatic and works well. So we're getting pretty close to having that up and going. There was a little concern at first with the anesthesiologist saying, well, he really isn't comfortable working with pediatrics. But once you step back and realize that we're not really talking newborn peds, we're talking, grade schoolers and so forth. So he's more comfortable with that. So I think that's going to come together. On the 23rd, then I had our ACE meeting over in Slayton, our coordinator meeting. That we talked a little bit about some of that. We reorganized for the year. I had a couple of new members came on from a couple of the other counties. And one of the issues we had was kind of coincidental. We had an individual from Lutheran Social Services that works with the meals at our Kiwanis meeting on Wednesday. And he's new to the program and talking about how, they've got their sweet hot meals, cold meals, and frozen meals. So I invited him. Then I said, have you got time tomorrow to come to Slayton? So he came and spoke to our ACE group in Slayton yesterday. So trying to make some progress on that. And then at the end of the month and on the 27th, I had my Rural Minnesota Energy Board meeting at Slayton. And had a little bit of information I brought back to Steve on some energy efficiencies and some other approaches to solar and wind, more for smaller projects that are the big farms. And then also in that evening, I had my SMOC meeting in Worthington. Again, our new director, Darcy Getke's been with us now for a year. Terrific breath of fresh air. It's going really well. Getting some things turned around. Of course, now with all this concerns about funding for Head Start programs, we're a little bit leery about that. Also, in Worthington, Nobles County Library is remodeling, so they need a temporary home. So they've actually rented some of our surplus space in our building for their library. So they've got moved in. So that'll probably go, I think, in a year, maybe a year and a half. So, okay, that completes my report. Chris.
Thanks, Dan.
Well, we will, January 7th was organizational meeting here. 10th to the 12th was MHA. How much we want to report there in this forum anyway. So it was a very good conference for me. Learned a lot. 14th regular meeting. 28th, regular meeting here and the hospital. That's my report.
Thanks, Dallas. I'll go next, just keeping it in order. On the 7th, I had the organizational meeting. On the 13th, I had a CPT executive committee meeting in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we had a law liaison meeting that Dan alluded to earlier. On the 14th, we had the regular board meeting. On the 27th, I had the CPT full board meeting, which is also the annual meeting too. I was elected vice chair of that board again for another year and appointed the executive committee again and personnel. I lost my meeting notes from that, so I don't want to misspeak on which counties that they got new contracts with and whatnot. So they tried to mail me my stuff back, and I got a open package with nothing in it. So I'll have to wait for next month to report.
Fell out
on
in
it.
the process.
Well, there's a lot of tape on it too, so I think it fell out a few times. So unfortunately, that was my planner for the year too, but oh well.
IT problems, opening attachments that aren't there. Yes. What I do.
And then on the 28th, we had a PCMC board meeting, and that was it for January.
Okay, mine for January, organizational board meeting, the 7th. 9 and 10 was Minnesota Hospital Association Conference. 14th, regular board meeting. 15th, Southwest Health and Human Services, just, we don't have much detail. Chris, the IT director resigned, so we have a meeting next Wednesday. We'll probably find out a little more about that. On the 15th, the Extension Search Committee for the Ag Educator position had a Zoom to go over the candidates that had applied. Seven applicants. We were going to interview 5 on Zoom for the first interview. So then that happened on the 21st. The Extension Search Committee interviewed the 5 candidates on Zoom. 22nd, Buffalo Ridge Drug Task Force. Want to highlight their purchasing body armor for the agents. It's like 35 to 40,000 for the body armor. 22nd, Radio Board Marshal, that's the Southwest Region Radio Board. 23rd, another Extension Search Committee. That was to go over the candidates that we're going to interview in person. And the 28th, regular board meeting and PCM board meeting. And I'll just go into February a little bit. The Extension Search Committee, again, we did the interviews, interviewed 3 candidates in person. And we did choose one, but that's not public record yet.
And thanks, Doug. Luke, do you want to finish up?
Yep, on the 14th, they attended the Holland City Council. On the 16th, the Soil and Water District meeting. On the 22nd, at Highway 23 Coalition, I was elected chair, and Scott Johnson from Benton County is taking over as treasurer. The 27th, at a Regional Solid Waste meeting, was reelected chair, and we scheduled a work session for this month to try to figure out what we're gonna do on this demo landfill stuff, since PCA has given us no direction, and so we're gonna have to just figure see what happens. On the 28th at the hospital board. On the 3rd, MRC had a Zoom meeting, and we heard from Senate Minority Leader Mark Johnson. Probably the worst news was that he was not very hopeful a bonding bill was going to get completed this year, because everyone's so uptight about just getting everyone to work that in order to get them to work together to get enough votes for a bonding bill, it seems unlikely. But it's unfortunate, because there's certainly not a lot of things that need to be done around the state. On the 5th and 6th, I attended the AMC Drainage Conference. It was really good. And on the 7th, at Area 2 and RCRCA, really routine there, I guess. And then had plan ops yesterday.
Okay, thanks, Luke. That finishes our committee reports. Keith, are you ready? All right.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here to request travel out of state for one of our deputies. He's went through the drug recognition expert training on the school part of it and passed. And now the next step is he has to go out to Philadelphia for the field training, and that's the end of this month. Those costs will be a little bit overtime and his food. Otherwise, everything's paid for by the state or whoever does that. So that'll give us three of them at least, drug and DRE, which is getting a lot of our DWIs anymore aren't alcohol anymore, so it's an important position. Hoping to get one a year for the next couple of years to get a few more. Otherwise, we gotta call people out at night. This is one working out really.
How would you say your force compares to other counties around us as far as having those drug recognition?
I'd say we're ahead.
Ahead?
I don't know that for sure, but I think it used to just be state patrol, and then we started doing it, and
I think the average is one deputy I'm hearing per county is kind of the average, so
yeah,
in our.
yeah,
region,
we'll have,
so.
so
Yeah, that's.
that'll- it's a big commitment from us, but also from the deputy, because it's,
You have to ever, go get called from another county to have somebody come or not?
we never have.
You have,
No, we would if we,
well,
we'd call them or they'd call us,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Yep.
Most counties just don't mess with it, I don't think. Like I said, troopers, a lot of the troopers can do it,
oh, sure.
but they're kind of short right now too, so. So
Where
that's
is,
my request, I guess, so.
where is this training held? Philadelphia.
Yep. Same as last time.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve the request for out-of-state travel.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
I'll second it.
We have a motion second to approve that with state travel for deputy. Any further discussion?
I also would like to just thank the deputies for being willing to put forth the effort, extra effort. That's very nice.
Yeah, and their willingness for them to come out at 2 o'clock in the morning when they're not working.
Do they also have to, if a case of theirs goes to court, do they have to also testify
Oh,
in
yeah.
court as well too?
Oh,
So it
yeah.
involves more than just that.
Yeah, and the report has to be a lot better. So.
Absolutely.
Do they also have to have recertification as they go forward, or once they got the certification, they're good?
No, once they're certified, then I don't think there's any testing or anything after that, so.
Oh, thank you for fostering that environment that, encourages our deputies to want to step up and advance their careers further. All right, is there any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That's the next, last order of business is, to schedule a new home tax abatement, but that's time sensitive, right, Steve, at 9:40? Or it's not time sensitive, we're just kind of waiting on,
Public hearings, that one is time sensitive.
Okay.
It's not a public hearing, it's just
just to.
notice of the public hearing.
Oh, here we go.
To schedule the meeting.
I see. Yep.
Yeah, Chris was gonna come down and talk about that.
Understood. that.
Take a brief recess until
Sounds good.
Chris comes down.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Oh, I was gonna ask you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Next order of business is, we have Chris McChesney here. We're gonna schedule a new home tax abatement public hearing. Good morning.
How are you? Good.
Do we have any comments or anything about the proposed, tax abatement hearing for Jeffrey and Nancy Terry? Think everything's in order right here, looks like. Yeah. Yeah, looking for a motion to approve, to set the public hearing for 10 a.m. on March 11th, 2025, is motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we set the public hearing for March 11th at 10 o'clock for Jeff and Nancy Terry.
There a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
Chris, they've got all of the documentation to you. They haven't started the work on the project yet at all. They haven't broke ground yet, so.
Right, I just went by the site and started yet. We've got the permit and everything we need.
Very good.
Any other questions? Chris? Okay, not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Perfect, that was easy.
That concludes the regular business. Our upcoming meetings, we have a rescheduled board meeting next week on the 18th, as well as a rescheduled PCMC board meeting later that afternoon at 1 p.m. So we will not be having a board meeting on the 25th. A reminder too, on March 3rd, we have our annual road and bridge meeting too at the EMS building. Correct, Steve? All right.
One more thing, planning on scheduling the cannabis ordinance public hearing again for March 11th.
March 11th. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll get that information published in the newspapers.
Very good. Thanks, Steve.
Mhm.
All right. Is there any other business to come before the board? Now I'll seek a
Move to
motion.
adjourn.
Thank you, Dan. Second.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Well, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.